there's this whole perception, oh, young people today don't want to work. I haven't found that to be my experience at all.
Yeah.
But what have you seen?
I think it's totally perception, and it's a perception we're trying to change. The youth, they need direction. They need to know somebody cares. They need to know what the purpose is and that you're going to invest in them. Think about the purpose of what this work is all about. To repair these beautiful pieces of art, these ADAS-equipped vehicles, and put them back on the road to make sure families and people are safe. That's a pretty powerful mission.
Take it from me, billion-dollar companies run into massive problems every single day. And solving them isn't just about money or size. It takes people, leadership, and a lot of coordination behind the scenes. On today's episode, we're going to pull back the curtain on what that process actually looks like at the highest level. My guest is Mary Mahoney, and she's Vice President at Enterprise Mobility. It's hard to oversell their success. In 2024, they did over $38 billion in revenue, and they currently employ more than 90,000 people across the globe. Together, we're going to dive into one of the biggest challenges facing our industries today and how we're working together to tackle it. Now, even though we talk a lot about a specific industry problem, the lessons apply to anyone building or leading a business. So buckle up. This is PodCrash. There's so many things about the journey at Enterprise that you've seen that are similar to the things that I face in Crash Champions. So I'm excited to talk about some of those similarities.
Awesome.
But I think best kind of for the audience is to get some of your background. So first, maybe we'll do your background, and then we'll jump into the background of Enterprise Mobility, formerly Enterprise Rent-A-Car, which a lot of people know it by. But let's get your own personal background a little bit first. Maybe how'd you grow up and how'd you end up working there?
I'm still working on that, by the way.
All right,
working on that grow up thing.
I love it.
No, quick story, born in the Midwest, a little town called Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I was born in the middle of the family. I have 5 brothers, 2 in front of me, 1 alongside. I'm a twin, and 2 below me. And they are incredibly talented individuals. And they all knew what they wanted to do in their life. They're all in the radio, television, broadcasting, music industry. In fact, one out of Chicago, Johnny B. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Okay.
Johnny B and the Leisure Suits, that was his band. They were on the Loop in Chicago here for 25 years, but all of them in the music and entertainment business. And people would look at me and go, Mary, what do you do? Nothing. How do you answer that? That was all through high school.
Okay.
So I wasn't in the band. I didn't have any musical ability, although I think I can sing, but nobody really wants to hear it. So
it's like my kids tell me, Daddy, let the radio do it.
Daddy, turn up the radio. Exactly.
I don't want to hear it.
So I said, fine, I'm moving on. Our parents, we came from very, very little. My mother was a nurse. She ran a hospital. She was amazing. My dad was a drywaller. Obviously, my brothers didn't follow in his footsteps, but they never sat down with us and said, children, what's your passion in life? What are your goals? Where do you want to go to college? They said, you guys need to get out there, get a job, and make some money. And I went, all right, I'm on my way. But I did go to college, a small school way in northern Wisconsin, communications degree. At the end of school, I said, I got to go someplace warm. So a bunch of friends, we went to Florida, moved there, couldn't find a job, working in restaurants. And I finally said, I'm going to get a headhunter. Remember that? Headhunters from back in the day?
Yep.
So I said, all right, I'm going to get a headhunter who's going to help me find my career. Fast forward, the headhunter introduced me to Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And I had to pay $1,500 for my job. And I figured I'd get reimbursed for that. Not so much. And I started working. My first branch, Clearwater, Florida. I was dressed to the T. It was 100 degrees. And I walked into the branch.
What year was this about?
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there, right?
Sorry.
Okay, so 1985.
Well, that puts the 1,500 maybe more in perspective.
Yeah.
A little more than back then.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty normal back then. You don't see that today. Yep. But I walked in. The branch manager said, get out there and wash some cars. And I'm like, oh, my God, in this outfit? I can't do that. came home that night and said, I quit. I'm never doing this again. And I went, wait a minute, I don't have any money. I'm going to go back until I earn my $1,500 back. Fast forward, I ended up in a branch with a manager that teaches you the bigger picture. And I know you operate like this in your shops. That branch manager is key to the future, right? It's all about teamwork, mentorship, you name it. This individual showed me a bigger picture. Then by 1994, after moving to Minneapolis, moving to Tampa for enterprise, the corporate office in St. Louis said, Mary, come to corporate and help us start what was called national marketing. We were never selling to insurance companies at a national level. It was always at a local level. And the Taylor family, who owns Enterprise today still, felt we needed to tell our story at a national level. So that's how I got to the corporate world, and everything changed from there.
All right, great to hear. So let's see, all brothers, I heard.
All brothers, absolutely.
So they beat you up just like they beat each other up?
Yeah.
That was probably a little bit in your background, I imagine. Competitive at all, were they?
Oh, so competitive. So we're all a year apart, very competitive. I had the G.I. Joe. Some of them had dolls, and then we change. I like to play war, but my mother said I need to come in the house and do the dishes. Very traditional, a year apart, but really tight today. As we move forward and got a little older, we all help each other out. We all support each other. I couldn't ask for a better family. They're amazing.
That probably made it a little easier for you too. When I think back, anything automotive was traditionally so much male dominated.
Yeah.
I always say about the collision business, we would love to have more and more women. We just have to. It wasn't us; it was them. They didn't want to be in that
Right.
our type of business. But it's changing a lot for us. I imagine Enterprise may be even way ahead of the curve. But at the time, back in the 80s,
Yep.
it's probably still male dominated a little bit back then, or was it?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. It was male dominated. But I think you're right. I think because I was raised with all those brothers that I had the confidence to continue to grow in that environment. It wasn't an issue, and I'd change oil and whatever, tires if I had to, and move on. And today, we are very heavy at the top with females. Our CEO, Chrissy Taylor, female, third generation of family, and many other female executives at that level.
That's great.
And it was hard because it's a different business. You don't go to school and say, I'm going to grow up and work for a rental car company. That's my dream.
Right.
It's a lot like your business. You come in, you meet the right people. They show you a bigger picture. It's not a job. It's really about building a career and helping people and finding what your passion and purpose is. And then the company creates the opportunities for you.
Just to give perspective, Enterprise is how big of a company?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking multiple countries.
So Jack Taylor, our founder, started the business in 1957. We lost him in 2016. He was amazing. He was a fighter pilot in the Navy, flew his jets off of a ship called the USS Enterprise, which is where the company's name came from. He came back from World War II and started this little leasing business, he called it at the time, in a Cadillac dealership. He had 7 cars. And he built the business and ran it just based on teamwork, like you would in the military, based on coaching and developing people around him. And he had a really simple philosophy, and we live it to this day. He said, number one, take care of your customers, treat them well, and guess what? They'll come back and they'll bring their neighbors. Number 2, take care of your employees, train them, develop them, share the profits of the business with them, provide career opportunities. And he'd say to us, if you get those 2 things right, number 3, growth and profits will always take care of itself.
And that was his philosophy post-World War II, so late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, day 1 when he started it.
Okay.
So we fast forward, we had his son, Andy Taylor, became CEO, and now Chrissy, third generation. And we have built the business on that philosophy, and we continue to. Very similar to yours. People first, customers and employees. Today, we've grown from 7 cars to 2.1 million cars globally. We operate in 100 countries right now. We have 90,000 employees. And we're still evolving and we're still growing. It's fun.
just speaks to the power of what you can do when you put people first. Make sure that you create a great employee environment and a great customer service product, right?
Just like you're doing, when you take care of not just your customers, but your employees, they're going to deliver great service. They're going to take care of your customers. They're following your vision, and it's fun. We have a lot of fun.
So, I mean, there's something to it because let's be honest, like your first day was you're all dressed up and got to clean cars.
Right.
So that's not probably so glamorous. Like there is a grind to it.
There's grind.
So what about the culture makes it click?
So I was in the manager trainee program. They're not washing a lot of cars today. That's not number one, but we're teaching.
For any future employees, you want them to know, like, it's better than.
Don't worry, you won't have to wash car. I'll help you if you need some lessons on washing cars. Got the brush moves. But what's so valuable about the program today as it evolved is we teach our people business, all about the business at that branch level, similar to your shop level.
Yeah.
We teach them how to read a P&L. We teach them how to, sell in their community, how to develop their peers, how to grow the business. Each branch has a P&L. First column on the P&L is their customer satisfaction score. And then behind that are fleet growth and revenues. It's hard. Anything good is hard. But you know what you're working towards. I used to say, man, I am learning so much about business just in my branch. I could leave enterprise and go start my own business. I never did. I'm mere 39 years later because there are so many opportunities. But that's what we teach. It has nothing to do with renting a car behind the counter. A little bit, but not much.
Yeah, it's a real business. And that's what I'm hearing from you, that you learn way beyond just what you do every day.
Yeah.
Where did the whole enterprise mobility conversation come in, and probably some things in there that are helpful rather than just call it enterprise rent-a-car and stick with it?
Yeah.
Why is it not that anymore?
It's really the next evolution and the next chapter of enterprise rent-a-car, from 7 cars to 2 million vehicles. It's about moving people and getting them where they want to go. We don't just rent cars. We have 3 different brands, by the way, National, Alamo, and Enterprise. We acquired National and Alamo back in 2008. But we also have 13 other business lines, truck and car share, and exotic fleets and commute, multiple lines of business. So whatever our customers need and wherever they want to go, we want to provide the transportation that they need. We did a survey of so many customers globally to see who understood that enterprise rent-a-car had multiple lines of transportation businesses. 11%. Only 11% knew that we had something other than rent a car. I mean, our truck division, we have a lot. So we wanted to tell the story not only of who we really are and what we're all about, but based on customer service and our evolution. And Chrissy Taylor, 3rd generation, she's 48 years old, taking the company to different levels. We have to be ready and prepared to provide mobility solutions of all kinds to our customers around the world. And who knows what's next, but you got to be open. And so she's taking this business out the next 5, 10, 15 years. And what does it look like? So
the pivot to the mobility not only more properly defines what you're doing today, but broadens what you can do tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. Spot on.
Now, for those that don't know, I know because of being in the collision business always, enterprise took a different route than, say, every other rental car company in the world. And I think, like, maybe it wouldn't have been as big of a success had they been maybe, quote unquote, the airport rental company, right? That's bringing in visitors from out of town.
Yep.
What enterprise is really good at is what else besides renting cars, say, when you land at the airport.
Yeah.
Now, I know it, but I don't know if everybody
does. It's unique. Some people don't understand it, but we certainly cater to people at the airports. But that was after the fact. When Jack Taylor started this business in a Cadillac dealership, he was actually first in the leasing business. And think about it, back in 1957, leasing was such a, it was a new concept. But what Jack noticed is when people would bring their car in for repairs, body work, they didn't have any transportation. And he went, well, I can do that. I can provide transportation. So he started providing transportation to people who brought their cars in for service and collision repair. Um, I think he charged 5 cents a day. No, 5 cents a mile, $6 a day.
Okay.
I think we still charge that today. I'm not sure. Anyway, uh, um, so what he said, and it just became bigger and bigger and bigger. And he worked in the community, talked to insurance companies who had so many people having accidents and putting cars in body shops. And he said, I can provide the transportation for you. I can take care of these customers. And that's where it was born. And at one point, he used to say to us, he goes, I'm not going to focus on the runways. I'm going to stay focused on the driveways. And so he took this simple niche and built it into this global business. Never in his wildest dreams did he think it would get to this point. But he never, just like you, he never focused on being big or the biggest. He focused on being the best, most trusted provider of transportation. And that's where we're at today. Just like Crash.
Great story.
Yeah.
So for you, you gave us that quick brush over of starting in Florida in a, I don't know if you would call it a suit, but basically like a suit,
It is a
washing
suit.
cars to the corporate path. But
Yeah.
there had to be challenges there,
Enormous.
so is there a good story in there or so as far as your career progress, a setback we can learn from, a big win?
Well, there's challenges every day, opportunities, right? You got to look
Mhm.
at a challenge as an opportunity every single day. When I got to corporate, start the national sales team, I go, okay, well, what do I do? And they go, we don't know, figure it out. And
That was the instruction?
that was the instruction.
That's
We,
great.
we are very simple thinkers. We don't hire consultants to help us tell us how to run the business. It's go take care of those insurance companies, go work with those local shops and see how we can better service them. And I go, all right, I'm on it. The beauty of these positions at enterprises, they allow you the freedom to innovate. And so we knew we needed to centralize, we needed to create technology that would better support these customers. So it was all about listening to what our customers needed, and the family would always allow us to build and innovate from there. And we still are today. So we built the ARMS system because of those customers going, are you kidding me? You call us way too much. Just stop, right?
Hmm.
So
So software technology to help the
software,
communication.
innovation, and we continue to invest. Chrissy Taylor continues to invest in new innovation today, new technology. But as long as it's intentional and everything we do drives customer experience, just like what you're doing, all of it.
So culture is super important
Oh, yeah.
in a business with 90,000 employees. It's super important in a business like mine that's 10,000. It's, I think, super important in one with 4 or
Yeah.
5 people.
Yeah.
You spend as much time or more with the people you work with
Yep.
than your own family sometimes. So
Yep.
I always said, like, you don't want to work with people you don't like.
Right.
Culture is a big piece of that. So we're definitely aligned. You're doing some things now that take that beyond just enterprise itself, and so what did you see kind of as a need to solve, and what are you working on?
Yeah, there's so many. And again, we are an environment, entrepreneurial environment, even at the branch levels that the Taylor family is like listen, learn, and innovate and solve. Probably one of the biggest one that impacts you as well is the shortage of collision repair technicians.
Yeah.
So it was actually it's a interesting story. Again, we're a very simple group. We're a very simple thinker. We were in a meeting. Carolyn Kindle is also a Taylor family. She's the granddaughter of Jack Taylor. She is a president and CEO of our foundation. We were in a meeting with a number of executives over a number of things, and one of the subjects was we are having a challenge with getting our cars repaired on a timely basis. So we repair 1 million cars a year. We're a risk buyer. So collision repair is very important to us.
Okay.
This was probably back in 2017, early 2018. And Carolyn, again, the founder of our, she's the CEO of our foundation, she said, should we be doing something about this? And I blurted out, yes. And I did because I happened to be on a board in the industry that's focused on trying to solve for this. And we weren't getting anywhere. It just wasn't enough. And she said, all right, Mary, here's what we need to do. Go over to Rankin Technical College here in St. Louis. Jack Taylor and Andy Taylor spent a lot of time there. They loved tinkering under the hood of a car. They
Okay.
invested in the school, the automotive division. So she said, go over to Rankin. I think they have a unique model for collision repair under their automotive division. See if there's anything there that might help us. And I'm like, I'm on it. Out the door I go. And I went, oh my God, I've never been in a technical school in my life. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what to look for. But I have great stakeholder friends in the industry. Someone from Crash. I had people from insurance companies, industry stakeholders. I had parts company, paint company, independent shops, MSO. I pulled about 10 or 12 people together. We spent 2 days roughly at Rankin Technical understanding that unique model. And I took it back to Carolyn. I said, I think this is it. I built a 2-year business plan and presented it to her. And she gave us $3 million and said, go test it. Let's see if it works. This was in 2018. And the pilot was to test it in 2 different schools around the country. If it worked at Rankin, can it work in other markets? And a 2-year pilot. So we're excited. Fast forward, we get it all together. 2020, we launch, and bam, COVID hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of put a dent in everybody's world. So we paused, but we kept going because, as Chrissy Taylor reminds us, with every challenge, there's huge opportunities. Innovate, innovate, innovate.
Yep.
So we discovered online training. We built that while we were waiting to get started. Fast forward, our 2-year pilot and our 2 schools turned into a 4-year pilot and 5 schools, and ended roughly in late 2023, early 2024. It was very successful. We had 87.5% percent retention, and that was key. So at the end of that, we went, all right, what do we do next?
We jumped through like this whole development of the program, but it could easily be said, a lot of companies would say, well, that's not our problem. Like, somebody's going to fix our cars. We'll pay them to fix it.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking like that's the repairer's problem to solve, you viewed it as something you should take on. I, of course, selfishly find it commendable, but really just looking at the world in that way.
Yeah.
Like, how can we help something that necessarily isn't our problem? Is that like the way you always operate?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And it goes back to your point early about investing in your people and the purpose. And in the industry, we believe that we have to continue our commitments to improving our communities where we operate, where our employees live, to continue to have them prosper. It's just the right thing to do. And we view this as a part of that. This is our industry. These are the communities where we operate. Everybody in the industry and everybody in these communities needs this type of support. And that's just the philosophy that the family has always lived by. And so they let it.
That's awesome. Like, how does that go to the audiences, though? So you've got something you're going to do, but if you want to drum up support for it or buy-in for it, say from the broader industry, I kind of know there's no way that's easy.
It's not easy at all. In fact, this is probably one of the hardest things we've ever had to do. At the end of it, we pulled industry folks together. We pulled the entire family together. And I go, this is great. What do you want to do next? And the industry said, we've got to continue this. This will help us solve some problems. And the industry, again, stakeholders like yourself. And so at that point, we said it's got to be its own entity. We filed with the government to build our own 501c3 nonprofit. This isn't something enterprise owns. It's something enterprise led and invested in and started for our communities. And the industry is who we have to collaborate with to help it grow. And it's hard. I think it's one of the hardest things we've ever done. Except we have great people like you who support it.
Appreciate that. But I kind of want to dig into this a little bit because it's a problem that seemed obvious to you.
Yep.
This problem seems obvious to me. And everybody in the world can look at problems that seem obvious. Getting people to rally around it, like, how discouraged have you been? Like, what do those conversations sound like?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think the big compliment here is like you have to push through all of that in spite of what I believe is probably a lot of disinterest, maybe at first.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I'm trying to go with my curiosity here.
Yeah. There were definitely
You
challenges.
don't have to call out names, like
No, no, no. I would not. There's definitely challenges because there's so many issues around the industry. It's like pick one, right? But we felt this was a really important and impactful one. We
and for
rallied.
people listening in general, like
Yeah,
when you repair cars or you rent cars to companies or customers of those that are getting cars repaired, if there's nobody repairing the cars, things go nowhere, right?
right.
So,
And
like,
nothing.
it seems like an obvious problem
Yeah.
because without repairers, none of the ecosystem works.
And-
But most would say, well, that's other people's problem to solve. So
well,
you took it on. So that's what.
we had to because AI is not going to be repairing cars anytime soon. That's kind of how we look at it. But we took it on. We first rally our own teams
Okay.
to see a new vision, to see a new purpose. So that was really important. So they were out in our markets talking to others about it, talking to some OEMs. Ford, great story here. Ford stepped up early on. We had a school in Parkland, Illinois, right around here, that had a collision program that nobody in the industry was supporting. They were about to close. And we got a call, said, hey, collision engineering team, could you help us with this? And I said, yes, let me make some phone calls. And I got a hold of Ford. And Ford said, absolutely, we are in. They donated $500,000 to get the school up and running again, and additional funds for students for any type of barrier to entry from going to school. We called it life funds. It was unbelievable. So we're seeing more and more people want to help solve this, but it's not easy. We're talking to insurance companies who recognize, you know what? I need capacity in shops. I need to get these, complex vehicles fixed. I need the right people to fix them. So they're listening. I applaud the insurance companies for that. And of course, one of the hardest at first was the shops, to be quite honest. Um, some of them are so used to training and teaching a certain way. They're like, we don't have time for this. And that was disappointing when this is who we're trying to help overall. Because what everybody in this industry has been doing in the past is not working. It's not evolving to meet the demands of these complex vehicles today or even in the future. And so that's the message. We've got to evolve, and we've been stagnant for a while. As an industry, we have. Please don't get mad at me for saying that, but
No, it's
um,
the same soapbox I stand on. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing things the same way, and you have to look at different solutions, especially when the one that you're quote unquote married to or been doing for years is not working. Like, why why do you dig in deeper? Like, creativity around how to do it differently is where it's at, I believe.
And that's part of the program. Is we're not meeting the demands of today, much less the future. And when we got started, we recognized that some of these vocational schools are not even coming close to train the skills that a very complex modern shop needs, which is someone like a Crash. And it developed into more than just trying to solve for a tech shortage. It was clearly a gap in education as well that had to come forward. And so we kind of look at it is like, and your teams have been awesome, is creating a new blueprint to reinvent and evolve the industry to build the next generation, an innovative, adaptive, flexible generation of highly skilled technicians that are motivated, creative professionals in the collision repair space, and that there's massive opportunities for their growth and their careers as they expand.
That's great. So, advice to those that see a problem and trying to rally support around it and they dream of tackling it, what would be your advice on number one, how to get started, number two, how to endure maybe some initial disappointment?
Well, opportunity is there for everybody. And you just have to think simple and you have to be creative and you have to champion your idea. You have to champion people to move in a direction that you need them to move. They have to see the vision. They have to see the energy. They have to see the purpose. The youth of today want to know what they do matters. And if there's not a strong purpose and you don't have the right, you don't have the right people involved, it's not going to go anywhere. We have the ability, and it's part of your mantra about championing people. We have the ability every day, and I see it in your shops, to not just be standard quo, but be extraordinary. Extraordinary is in reach for everybody. So you got to rally around what your mission is, and you've got to make sure people understand what that vision is, and they have to understand we can't do it alone. And it's not easy, but the opportunities are there. You can't sit back and depend on someone else to do it. You need to change the world. You got to get started yourself. In fact, we had a student, Karina, in your shop. This is a great story. Can I tell it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So female, right?
Mhm.
She always wanted to be in this industry, never felt comfortable, tried it, immediately quit because she didn't see herself and was never comfortable until she started with collision engineering in our school. And then we apprenticed in your shop. And she just skyrocketed her career. And when we interviewed her, she said, if you want to change the world, become a collision engineer, join this industry. And I went, yes, that's it.
That's awesome.
So you champion people, and you have those champions speak on your behalf and rally the world. And you just keep going. Look at you. You started with one shop.
That's right.
One shop. By the way, why do you call it Crash Champions? I love that name. I never asked you that.
Yeah, in trying to create a name to grow with, the first shop was named after the town we were in, so that's not scalable. And we hired a couple advertising firms to help us come up with a name. I hated all of them. They interviewed me and a few key employees
Yeah.
to figure out what we do. And really what we do is help people in a time of need.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of a hero to our customers.
Yeah.
They don't want to see us till they need us, but
Right.
when they do, it's our chance to be like a hero.
Yeah.
So
You're my
then
hero, by the way.
I appreciate that. And so in the logo, got me blushing now, but in the logo is a cape. So some people don't know what the logo is, but it's a
I
cape.
didn't know that. I see it now.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it was, kind of a superhero in a time of need.
Yeah.
We would give all our customers, the kids that come in, capes, because what kid doesn't want a cape?
Of course.
Um,
I want a cape.
And then 10 years later when they're driving, they'll remember the cape that they ran around in. So, and Crash Champions is a name that I thought people would hear and have a chance to remember.
Yep.
Because surveys say when it comes to auto service,
Right.
ask them a year later who fixed their car and people won't remember the name.
Right.
They'll remember like Joe at that company helped me,
Yeah.
but they won't remember the name of the company.
Yeah.
So I was like a little bit trying to come up with a name that I thought might stick and people might remember. I don't know how well we did, but that's the whole concept. That's where the name came from.
So you didn't need an ad agency for that.
No, but they did come up with the Crash Champions idea. As far as to know what we stood for, no, but to put it together in a name.
Yeah.
They helped, yeah.
That's great. Good for you.
Thank you. So, but I was headed a different direction with
Sure.
my question. Let's talk about the program, because I think in general it combines both the trade school part of it.
Yep.
And a college degree.
Yep.
Which is, so, I'm out there talking about all the blue collar opportunity, which sometimes makes me sound anti-college, which I'm not. I just want the world to know that there's a bunch of opportunities.
Yeah.
And all of them can come out great.
Yep.
But this combines both. So
Yeah.
the concept, maybe let's talk through some of that a little
It's a unique model. It is a 2-year associate's degree with a 2-year apprenticeship program backed by the Department of Labor. So how it works, quite simply, is a student starts day one in the classroom, and they're in the classroom for 8 straight weeks. At the end of that 8 weeks, they're immediately put into a shop, an employer who will work with them for 8 straight weeks, gaining hands-on experience. After the end of that 8 weeks, they go back into the classroom, and they rotate that nonstop for 2 years. And at the end of that rotation, they graduate with an associate's degree, and everybody so far is 100% employed and debt-free and working for the shop where they had their apprentice. And you, by the way, I have to say thank you. We have 35 students and growing that have gone through your program, have graduated, are working for you now. I have another female out of College of Lake County who is actually helping teach as well, that learned in your shop. So thank you for that.
Love it. I can't wait to put some zeros in front of those numbers.
I know.
It's just so new to all of us and
Yeah.
trying to get it right. And
Yeah.
there's challenges to it in a production space like a shop.
Yep.
You got people there for 8 weeks, then they disappear.
Yeah.
But we figure those are the details that you kind of figure out. But the problem that you solved is great because say you just go to trade school, but you haven't went and did the job. You might actually hate the job when you're in it.
Right.
And so this allows you to actually experience the job while you're in school.
Yep.
Allows you to get a little broader sense of the job in that you look at different roles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
And then get the degree.
yeah, you're spot on. John Hildebrand, the director of our program, he was the chair at Rankin. He was the one that identified early on. It was all classroom. They'd go into the industry and they left. They were gone. There was no retention.
Yeah.
And something was missing. And the key piece is that hands-on training. You've got to have hands-on training, 1,200 hours of hands-on training. But at the same time, we took it a little bit further. We follow a little bit of your program. We believe we need to develop the whole person, not just the collision repair side of it.
Yeah.
So we've incorporated a professional development program. Personal and professional development. We teach them soft skills. We run them through DISC programs. Have you ever done DISC to see what kind of personality you have?
I have. Yep.
We teach them how to get along with others in the industry.
I'm very much on the D side, right next to the I, almost at the top. That's where I land on the whole thing. For those that know it.
Good
Yep.
for you.
I don't know if it's good for me, but
I
that's
don't
who
know.
I am.
It's working. It's working. But it's part of teaching the culture and financial literacy, how to write a resume if you need to, but mainly building the culture and the confidence they need to work with alongside others in the business. And as you know, too, we put our students through that, but when we also put the mentor in the shop through that. That's probably been the most successful part of this whole thing. We're developing the whole person.
It's so important because the mentor is
Yep.
a whole nother part of the equation that's honestly our even bigger hurdle.
Yeah.
We've actually got a ton of interest in apprenticing from some of the messaging and campaigning we've been doing, but now it's also getting the guys that know the skill to become good teachers, to get them the patience and to also solve the whole, is it slowing down their productivity and they need to so they need to support their family. So you've got some problems to solve there.
Yeah.
So it's great when you mention it's also training the mentors because that's key too. You need
It's absolutely
mentors.
key. We're building rewards for mentors. At Enterprise, we're recognition junkies. So when our branch employees are doing good things, we like to recognize them. It's not about money. It's just about recognition. So we're doing a similar thing for our mentors. And they are champions. I keep using your word for these students. The other thing we do at the shop is we require the shop to pay at least minimum wage, and then we'll subsidize that pay over and above because they're worth it, and it's going to be a quality employee. So the student also can earn while they learn
Yes.
at the same time. And it's been tremendously successful. And the shops, a couple of them early on were independents, and they're like, all right, we'll give it a try. And today, huge positive fans of the program. Some are saying the days of handing somebody a broom and just paying minimum wage is not enough. You can't train in that way. And they're championing us as well, and all the independents. But it's a full, comprehensive program. And then we invest in the school as well. As I mentioned, these schools were backwards. Funding wasn't there. They didn't know what they should be teaching, and our education is driven by the industry. We have to understand how cars are being built, what you're repairing, in order to know how to educate. And so we invest $50,000 per school in getting them the tools that they need to continue to do the right thing in terms of education.
So you really are being transformational because it's
Yes.
the whole system that needs to
Yeah.
kind of transform to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
There's some things that I want to ask you randomly about the program that I know from working with you and talking to you. So interest from women, surveys have told you
Yeah.
surprising things. So maybe talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah. As I mentioned, we identified that so many women are really interested in a career like that. They see it as artistic. They could use their multiple talents and creative. And we ran into a number of females. First couple of years, we had 15 females that said, I want to go through your program, that had tried it earlier before this program and never felt welcome, didn't feel comfortable. And so we put them through this program. They have just excelled. They're some of our best
Yeah.
and strong. And I know there's a couple working in your shops right now. But it goes back to your culture again, right? It's about the people. It's about helping them feel comfortable in the environment they're in and contributing. And then coaching, training, and developing them, providing career opportunities for them. They're going to follow you all day long. And I think that's how you're at 10,500 employees and still growing. And I saw a boardroom here filled with a whole bunch of your GMs in a boot camp that are just rallying and going crazy for what's next.
Got to train, got to grow.
You got to train, you got to grow. And that's what the program is about. And that's what's capturing females, which is great because there's some really talented females out there.
Great. Now let's talk about the young people perception. And, there's this whole perception, oh, young people today don't want to work. I haven't found that to be my experience at all.
Yeah.
But what have you seen?
I think it's totally perception, and it's a perception we're trying to change. The youth, they need direction. They need to know somebody cares. They need to know what the purpose is and that you're going to invest in them. That's how we see it. And you can't think about the purpose of what this work is all about. To repair these beautiful pieces of art, these ADAS-equipped vehicles, and put them back on the road to make sure families and people are safe. That's a pretty powerful mission. Pretty powerful purpose. And so with people like your company and what we're trying to teach in our schools with the apprenticeship programs is just that. Here's an opportunity for you to do something that matters, to be surrounded by people that care for you, and grow your career, grow your own personal development. And the sky's the limit. Maybe you want to weld. Maybe you want to paint. Maybe you want to run a shop. Maybe you want to be an insurance adjuster. Or maybe you want to come and work for a rental car company.
Right.
The sky's the limit. And that's what youth is looking for today. And they don't want a lot of debt. And they want to hit the skills and hit the ground running and contribute.
Yeah, we see the world the same in a lot of ways. Of course, when you start being on social media and talking about these things or whatever, you get the feedback that disagrees with you, which I appreciate. Some of them would say, what you don't realize is kids don't want these jobs. Like, they're hard, and so I think it can be a short-sighted thing if you don't know what else is possible.
Right.
So maybe so, and some will love it because to work with your hands and see the artistic part of it, to take something that's been wrecked and transform it, there's a lot of reward in that. But beyond that, there's so much in the ecosystem, other opportunity that it has everything to do with fixing a car, but actually the day-to-day grind has nothing to do with fixing a car. And is that how you see it too?
It's how we see it. And that's where this is the greatest struggle. We keep talking to our industry, but we got to show the world. We got to go outside of our industry and show and create this great opportunity, this great educational opportunity. We need a Got Milk campaign. That's what we need, Matt. Remember how all the farmers got together to get more milk in people's homes?
Yeah.
And
exactly
I drink a lot of milk coming from Wisconsin, That's what we need. We need a Got Milk campaign. We need a Mike Rowe to help us. We need to tell the world that this is a viable, impressive opportunity for so many.
So from the Got Milk idea, since we don't have right, and we don't have a Got Milk campaign yet, in your effort to kind of create that, what's been done then is the Collision Engineering Advisory Board. I think the title might even be a little fancier than that. So you form this board
Yeah.
in effect to get the word out, right? So
Yeah. Well, it's twofold. So let me explain it. So, from the very beginning, I had an industry advisory board that helped enterprise and us make decisions on how to take this program, how to build this program out. Very helpful. But what we require in every market where we have a school, and we have 7 schools today, is that each of the schools have a collision engineering advisory board.
okay.
Every school has their own advisory board. This is in addition to that. And that advisory board includes the local community. It includes shops. It includes enterprise people. It includes community stakeholders, glass companies, insurance companies, you name it, along with the instructor and the school. And the concept there is to work together to develop the program for that school and that local market, whether they need mentors or they need more instructors. That advisory team guides the school's program. And the long term strategy here is that we're not going to solve this at a national level. We're going to solve this at a community level. So if you think about it, you've got a school in a community with a strong community advisory team constantly building the school. And at the end of the day, they're pumping out collision repair professionals into the market where they all live and work. So it's a long-term strategy. And the advisory board plays a key role there and building that within each of the communities where we operate around the country.
Excellent. So what I found to be the challenge is this. For some decades, the whole push has been need to go to college, which again, I'm not against that. But schools, that's the path that schools are promoting.
Right.
And I would say to myself, say 10 years ago, if I'm sitting in front of parents of 16, 17-year-old kids,
Yeah.
how would I pitch, come work with us?
Yeah.
And then fast forward to today. How would you pitch to parents of young people, there's a great career here? What would be your pitch?
You have to
And
educate.
sorry for putting you on the spot.
No. You have to educate them that 4-year college degrees are fantastic, but there are other options. That 2-year colleges that teach the trades and teach skills provide a tremendous opportunity for your son or daughter to grow in a career that is of interest to them. For example, take collision repair, and you walk them through the path, the opportunity, and then the financial reward. I mean, these kids are graduating and they're starting at $80,000 to $100,000 a year. That's incredible. And so it's creating awareness to another opportunity versus what we've always been told. It's creating awareness versus what's your pitch. That's how I feel about it.
Very good. Now, maybe I need to ask you now, how would you pitch us over Enterprise Rent-A-Car? But I don't want to do that. I'm just kidding.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Right.
So
We'll wash your cars.
there you go. If I were to ask you then, if this were listened to by a million people, what do you need to succeed at the mission here?
Oh, thank you for asking that. We have taken it far, but we're just getting started. We're young. We just received our nonprofit status, and this program was developed for the industry, with the industry. We need to expand to more schools, and we need capital to expand to more schools. We need more resources to continue to expand around the country, and that's where we need our help today. We cannot do it alone. We'll continue, as an enterprise continues to invest in this. It's the right thing to do. We want to ensure the overall health of the automotive industry, but we cannot do this alone. It's too big of a challenge, and it's a global challenge. We haven't even left the U.S. yet. So we need capital. We need in-kind donations. We need help. And if you want to learn more, our website is full of information at beacollisionengineer.com. Full of videos, authentic stories from our students. Oh, and a donation portal too. But we need help. We can't do it alone.
All right. Hopefully this helps drum up some interest.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing I think about it is, first you mentioned globally, not just here, but also more globally from industry's perspective. Like there's a lot of industries trying to solve the people problem. There's a lot of young people trying to figure out, what do I want to do for my career? And I think programs like these are an introduction of something new and different
Yep.
that solves both the education and the hands-on experience in a different
Yep.
way. You never know, this might catch fire into something way, way bigger, way beyond the
Hopefully.
world we know.
Hopefully. The focus again, like Crash, people and purpose, and everything else will take care of itself.
Do you see it as a global problem now, geography-wise? Do you
Yeah.
see it as a global problem, or is it unique to the U.S.?
Oh, no, not at all. Because we're global, I travel globally. I'm in Europe and they have repair conferences, and all they're talking about is collision shortage. I was in Spain recently. All they're talking about is a shortage of technicians and how are we going to fix this? Canada continues to want to talk further about how do we solve for this shortage? And everybody's trying to figure out a way forward. So this is truly a global problem, and it's been around for a while, and it's time for us to change the world and reinvent the blueprint and move forward and be done with it once and for all so we can go into something new.
What are your key learnings as putting this together so far? It's early in its transformation into what
Yeah.
it can become, but anything big where you're like started to attack it this way and then you pivoted because you saw some success stories maybe we could highlight.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple that have been really successful coming through the program.
We learned so much. I mean, every day we learned so much. We learned what the schools needed, and we didn't have enough. We needed to have a greater focus on what the industry needs in order to build the curriculum that the school needs. We learned that females and underrepresented individuals needed more care and help, which is why we began the professional and personal development. We knew early on this is big and we can't do it alone. And we need the industry to support us and work through it with us. Whether you're an insurance company, a glass company, a paint company, certainly a shop, this is a massive, massive problem. And we need everybody's help.
So for you, let me get personal with it.
Oh boy.
There's no way that you want to, maybe you do, I don't know, work another 30 years.
No.
So what do you want to,
What do I want to do when I grow up?
or what's the finish? Like, where do you want to get this to? And you can hang your hat and say, I did it.
Yeah.
Obviously, from the starting point at Enterprise to where you are now, super respectable career. So you could say that's been accomplished.
Yeah.
But now this mission that you're on,
Yeah.
like where will you say,
Yeah. So
if I woke up tomorrow and said, job well done, where would it be?
it wouldn't be tomorrow. It would, this is like the next evolution in my career as well. It's just a meaningful, wonderful, massively needed program. And I will continue to lead this until we at least have a school in every state around the country and then begin.
How many today are you?
We're only 7.
Okay.
We just started. We're brand new.
Maybe this will take 30 more years.
Yeah,
no,
no.
I'm just kidding.
We're going to move fast.
Go
I
ahead.
know
I
we're
didn't
going to
mean
get
cut you
help.
off. I just wanted to reestablish the starting point.
Yeah.
So one in every state is
that's where enterprise vision is too, is we should have one in every operating group around the country, which kind of mirrors your footprint a little bit. So in every state, and then start to expand into the countries and teach what we've learned. That's when I'll relax.
Very good. You know, we're all about championing people, which you referred to a little bit through the interview here. But if we were given the opportunity to champion somebody right now, who would you champion and why?
Oh boy. I champion Matt, although you have 10,500 champions for you right now, right? All your wonderful employees. So I would say I champion the.
Thank you for that. But let's.
Yeah. What you do is wonderful. I champion the students and the instructors and the employers who are taking a step forward and trying to change and reshape this industry. I would say I'd also champion the females and the underrepresented who are out there blazing trails trying to make things happen. I would champion those instructors who get up every day and work hard to empower and teach and train the student to be the best they can be. These are all the people that are going to give us the next generation of collision repair technicians and change our world. So I'm championing them. Amen.
Appreciate that, Mary. I admire you and what you're doing, taking on something big. something that, as I pointed out, many people could have viewed as other people's problem. So it takes some courage to tackle it and a whole lot of energy. So
Well,
all credit to you there.
Thank you, but I credit the Taylor family who supports these types of initiatives and wants all of our employees to continue to look for ways to make a difference. That's what it's all about.
We'll get Chrissy on here maybe one day.
Yes, you will.
Then she can tell us all about the Taylor family's efforts and what they're up to. She's a harder ticket to get.
Yeah, she's
But we'll get.
all over the world. She's amazing, just amazing.
Thanks again, Mary.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you want more PodCrash in your life, which of course you do, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch you next time.